The sky over Velari Prime was burning. Thick, dark clouds mixed with streaks of fire from orbital strikes. Cities that had once been full of life now lay in ruins. Tall spires of glass and metal were broken, smoke rising from every street. The people of Velari Prime were afraid. They had trusted the Galactic Alliance to protect them, and now that trust had failed. Lyn, a young Velari scientist, stood in the corner of the bunker beneath the main city. Her long fingers shook as she adjusted the controls of a small communication console. Red lights flashed across the screens. The numbers showed only one truth. The Draxan Dominion had arrived, and the Alliance ships were gone. They promised to help us, Lyn whispered. Her voice was soft, almost swallowed by the low hum of the bunker. They promised, and now nothing. Talon, a Velari defense officer, paced near the entrance. His long legs carried him back and forth, his hands clasped behind his back. He had trained for years to protect his people, but their weapons were weak, outdated, and almost useless against the Draxan fleet. We cannot wait here, he said. If they land troops, this bunker will not hold. We have to fight, even if it kills us all. Lyn, an elder of the Velari Council, sat quietly in a chair near the wall. Her eyes, pale and wise, watched both Lyn and Talon. She had read the old star records, stories from a time before the Alliance was formed. She remembered a species called humans. They were once feared across many systems, but later banned by the Alliance. She remembered the warnings. Humans were dangerous, unpredictable, and strong in ways no other species could match. Lyn, she said, her voice calm but firm. Send one last signal. Do not limit yourself to Alliance frequencies. There may be others who can hear us. Lyn nodded. Her fingers moved quickly over the console. She knew the risk. The band seer Lyn spoke of were old, nearly forgotten. Few would hear the signal. But she had no choice. She typed quickly, sending a simple message into the void. This is Velari Prime. We are abandoned by the Galactic Alliance. Our world is under attack by the Draxan Dominion. If any can help, please respond. We have nothing left. Talon shook his head. It is useless. No one listens on those channels anymore. Lyna's pale eyes softened. Perhaps someone will. There is a species that lives on a death world. They were once feared, but they remember what it is to be small and alone. Perhaps they will answer. Lyn looked at her. Humans? You mean the humans? Yes, Lyn said. They may be our only hope. The bunker shook as another orbital strike hit the city above. The walls trembled, and dust fell from the ceiling. Talon gritted his teeth and tightened his fists. If humans come, we may survive. If not, his voice trailed off. Hours passed. The Draxan fleet hung above the planet like a black shadow. Their ships were vast, far larger than anything the Velari had ever seen. The sky glowed with the light of their weapons, and fire rained down on the once proud cities. Velari citizens huddled in small shelters, terrified and silent. Then, the console blinked in a strange pattern. Lyn froze. The message was coming from an old-style signal, one used only by the humans. She read the words on the screen. This is Captain Aaron Price of the human ship Iron Resolve. We received your call. We are coming. Talon stepped back. His eyes were wide. Humans? It cannot be. The Alliance said they were too dangerous, too unpredictable. Why would they help us? Lyn's fingers shook. They are the only ones who might. The Alliance abandoned us. They do not care. Maybe humans. Maybe humans still remember what it is to help. Lyn nodded slowly. They do not fight for glory or politics. They fight for each other and for those who cannot defend themselves. You will see their ways soon enough. Outside, the Draxan forces continued to move. Drop ships descended from orbit, scattering fire over the remaining cities. Talon and a small group of defenders tried to prepare for a fight. They had a few small ships, light weapons, and courage. It was not much against the Draxans' overwhelming power, but it was all they had. The bunker door shook violently. Ground forces are here, a Velari soldier called out. They are breaking through the perimeter. Lyn and Talon exchanged a glance. Fear mixed with hope. The humans were on their way, but it would take time. and every moment counted. As they waited, Lyran worked on improving the signal. She had learned some human code from the old star records, enough to make the communication clear. She repeated the distress call, sending coordinates and system data. She hoped that the humans understood the urgency. Minutes passed like hours. Then, a faint humming sound filled the bunker. It was not the Draxon engines. It was different, steady, and strong. Talon ran to a window and saw a glimmer of light above. A ship was dropping from the sky, its engines cutting through the smoke. "It cannot be," he said. "Humans do not exist here. They are only in stories." Lyran's heart raced. She typed furiously, trying to maintain contact. The human voice came again through the console, calm and direct. "We are here. Do not worry. We will help you. Hold your positions." The humans arrived not as part of an alliance fleet, but alone. Captain Aaron Price, along with his crew, came from a world that no one else in the galaxy trusted. He brought with him his tactical officer, Natalie Brooks, his chief engineer, Daniel Carter, and ship doctor, Lisa Morgan. They were rough, direct, and fearless. They had survived on a death world, a planet that challenged every living thing. They were used to danger and impossible odds. And now, they were here. Talan was suspicious. Why would they help us? We owe them nothing. The Alliance warned us against trusting them. Cyrilena smiled faintly. They remember what it is to be small, weak, and alone. They know how it feels to have no one come to save you. And that is why they fight differently. The sound of Draxon troops on the streets grew louder. Explosions shook the ground, and the bunker rattled with each strike. Talon and the defenders readied themselves. They were small in number, their weapons weak. But they had one thing they did not have before: hope. Hope came in the form of humans who did not follow the rules of the Alliance. Humans who had learned to survive on a planet that would have killed any ordinary species. Humans who did not care about politics or votes. Humans who cared about action, courage, and keeping their word. The first human shuttle landed nearby, cutting through the smoke and fire. Armored figures emerged. One of the Marines, Chris Hall, removed his helmet to show the Velari he was not a monster. His face was scarred, but his eyes were steady. He carried himself with a quiet confidence. "We will help you," he said. His voice was firm. "Stay calm, follow orders, and we will get through this." Lyran could not believe her eyes. The humans were real. The stories were true. She felt a mix of fear and relief. Perhaps, for the first time since the Draxon fleet had arrived, Velari Prime had a chance. Talon finally lowered his weapon. He looked at the humans, at their calm, determined faces, and realized they were not like any species the Alliance had ever trusted. They were different, stronger, dangerous in a way that inspired hope. Cyrilena spoke quietly. "This is only the beginning. Watch and learn. They will show you what courage looks like when all seems lost." Lyran turned back to her console. The human ship's communications glowed softly on the screen. She typed back a simple message: "Welcome. Thank you for coming. We do not have much, but we will fight with you." Aaron's voice came back immediately. "We fight together. No one is left behind." Outside, the Draxon fleet moved like a dark storm, preparing to crush everything in their path. Inside the bunker, a small spark of hope began to grow. Velari Prime was abandoned by the galaxy, yes, but not by everyone, not by humans. And sometimes, being saved by the most unlikely ally was the only way to survive. And with that, Lyran, Talon, Cyrilena, and the people of Velari Prime waited for the humans to show them what it meant to be protected by Death Worlders. The first lights of the human ships cut through the smoky sky, shining like a promise that even in the darkest hour, someone would answer when help was needed. The world was burning. The enemy was near, but hope had arrived. And for Velari Prime, that hope came from Earth, a planet no one in the galaxy truly understood. A world of death and survival, and the humans who had learned to live through it all. The sky above Velari Prime was still dark, streaked with smoke and fire. Draxon ships hovered above the cities, their weapons ready, waiting for any sign of resistance. In the bunker, Lyran and Talon watched the human ship, Iron Resolve, moved steadily through orbit. The humans were unlike anything the Velari had ever seen. A soft voice came from the console. It was Captain Aaron Price. "We are preparing to land a shuttle near your position. Keep civilians safe and stay inside until we arrive. We will make contact directly." Talon frowned. "I do not like this. We know nothing about them. The Alliance warned us to avoid humans. They are dangerous." Cyrilena shook her head slowly. "Dangerous, yes, but sometimes dangerous is the only thing that can save you. Watch and learn." Moments later, a small shuttle detached from the Iron Resolve and descended through the smoky sky. Flames from nearby burning buildings reflected on its metal hull. The shuttle landed near the bunker with a loud thud, kicking up dust and debris. The hatch opened, and 4 humans stepped out. The first was Captain Aaron Price. Tall, strong, with calm eyes that seemed to look at everything at once. Beside him was Natalie Brooks, tactical officer, her expression sharp and alert. Daniel Carter, the chief engineer, followed, carrying small equipment and scanning the area carefully. Last was Lisa Morgan, the ship doctor, steady and calm even in the chaos. A few Marines in heavy armor accompanied them. Talan stepped forward cautiously. "We do not know your ways," he said. "Why do you help us? We are strangers. The Alliance warned us." Aaron's eyes were steady. "We help because you asked, not because we owe anyone anything, not because the Alliance told us to. If someone calls for help and we can reach them, we try. That is how humans work." Lauren's heart raced. She stepped closer to the humans. "You are really here? The stories. Humans are real?" Aaron gave a faint smile. "Real enough, and we are not here to talk. We are here to fight. First, we need your data. Tell us everything about the Draxon positions, your weapons, your forces." Talon frowned. "Our weapons are weak. Our numbers are small. The Draxon will crush us." Natalie stepped forward. "We know the odds are against us. We do not care. Odds are only numbers. We make our own rules." The humans moved with confidence, their presence alone changing the mood in the bunker. Velari soldiers and civilians began to feel a small spark of hope. They had waited for help from the Alliance, and now the most unexpected allies had arrived. Lyron brought up a holomap of the system. "The Draxon fleet is strong in orbit," she said. "Their ground troops are landing in the cities. We have only small ships, light weapons, and a few trained fighters. The rest are civilians hiding." Aaron studied the map carefully. "We can work with that. Humans are used to surviving on a death world. We have trained to face harsh conditions and overwhelming threats. We can adapt. We will show you how." Talon muttered, "We are not used to seeing anyone survive here, let alone fight like that." Daniel leaned over the map. "Tell me about your technology. Any weaknesses in Draxon shields or weapons? Anything we can use?" Lyron and Talon exchanged a glance. The Velari technology was delicate, precise, but not built for war. Yet humans seemed to understand immediately how to combine it with their own methods. Natalie spoke sharply. "We will need to train your fighters. We fight differently from you. Cover, movement, small squad tactics. You will need to learn fast if you want to survive." Talon's jaw tightened. "We have no choice." The humans began walking through the bunker, examining weapons and equipment. Lisa checked the health status of some of the defenders and civilians. "Your people are frightened, yes, but resilient. Fear is natural. We can work with that." Lyron noticed the humans' unusual calmness. Nothing seemed to shake them. They walked through fire and smoke, scanned enemy signals, and still stayed steady. It was as if danger itself did not touch them. Aaron gathered the Velari leaders in a small room. "Listen carefully. The Draxon expect you to fight in one way. You defend your cities, you hide, you hope for reinforcements. Humans fight differently. We take the initiative. We hit first, hard, and we protect civilians while we do it. We create opportunities from what seems impossible." Cyrilena nodded silently. "This is what I told you. Humans do not follow the rules others obey. That is why they are dangerous, and why they may be the only ones who can save you." Talon studied Aaron. "And if we fail?" Aaron did not hesitate. "Then we die trying. But if we succeed, you will have a chance to live. That is what matters. Fear does not stop death. Action does. Over the next hours, the humans began instructing the Velari fighters. They ran drills in the ruined streets. They taught cover techniques, movement patterns, how to avoid enemy detection, and how to coordinate attacks with small squads. The Velari soldiers struggled at first. Their movements were careful, slow, and cautious. Humans moved differently. Fast, direct, and decisive. Natalie corrected Talon's formation. Move faster. Do not pause. Hesitation kills. You will not survive thinking too much. Trust your instincts, follow orders, and keep moving. Lyran watched the humans work. She saw the Velari begin to change. Soldiers who were timid became bolder. Civilians who were scared started volunteering to carry supplies, guide squads, and monitor enemy activity. The humans inspired confidence not by speeches, but by example. Daniel worked with Lyran on combining human equipment with Velari tech. They improvised signal jammers, drones for reconnaissance, and small explosive devices that could disable Draxan vehicles. Lyran was amazed at how quickly humans could see possibilities that Velari technology alone had never considered. Lisa set up a small field clinic in a sheltered part of the bunker. She trained Velari medics in basic human first aid, medicine that could save lives in ways the Velari had not known. She treated burns, broken bones, and injuries from Draxan weapons. Civilians began to understand that humans did not fear pain, and they could survive injuries that would have killed ordinary Velari. As night fell, the Draxan fleet continued to patrol above, their lights like watchful eyes. The humans gathered the Velari leaders for a final discussion. We cannot match the Draxan numbers, Aaron said, but we can break their confidence. We can make them fear what they do not understand. And once fear is in their ranks, even a smaller force can win. Talon looked uncertain. How can we do that? We are few, our weapons are weak, and the cities are burning. Aaron smiled faintly. We fight smart. Humans are used to impossible odds. We take risks others would not. We use what we have. We create fear in the enemy, not just in ourselves. Lyran leaned forward. You mean, make the Draxan think we are stronger than we are? Exactly, Daniel said. We will use the technology you have, the terrain of your cities, and some tricks humans developed on Earth. They will see ghosts where there are none, hear threats that do not exist, and hesitate. Hesitation can win battles. Talon's frown softened slightly. Hope was rising, but so was fear. Humans were unpredictable. They were strong, yes, but also dangerous. If they miscalculated, more Velari could die. Aaron saw the doubt in his eyes. We will be careful, but we do not have the luxury of waiting. Draxan will not pause. We move at night. First strikes will be coordinated with your fighters. Everyone must act quickly, decisively, and without hesitation. Understand? Yes, Talon said. His voice was firm. He looked at the humans. We will follow your lead. Teach us, and we will fight, Lyran added, and if we survive, maybe Velari Prime can stand again. Natalie nodded. We will not let your world fall if we can stop it. You may not know us, but humans do not leave others behind, outside. The Draxan prepared for another strike. Inside the bunker, Velari fighters trained, civilians helped, and humans planned their first moves. The quiet hope of survival grew, small but powerful as the night deepened. The Iron Resolve hovered in orbit, its light steady. The humans were patient but ready. They moved as if danger was natural, as if impossible odds were routine. The Velari began to understand a little of what Seer Lena had meant. Humans were not just survivors. They were Death Worlders, creatures forged by a harsh planet, a species that did not give up, that adapted, and that could turn fear into strength. And now, these Death Worlders were here, on Velari Prime, preparing to fight an enemy that had seemed unbeatable. The first sparks of an unlikely alliance had been struck. In the bunker, Lyran looked at Aaron. Thank you for coming. We are small, we are weak, but we will fight with you. Aaron's voice was calm and steady, yet filled with quiet strength. We fight together. That is how we survive. The Draxan fleet hung over the planet, vast and dark. The cities burned, But inside the bunker, for the first time in many days, hope was alive. Velari Prime had been abandoned by the galaxy, yes, but now humans had arrived. And the Velari would learn that survival did not come from promises, politics, or alliances. Survival came from courage, action, and allies who would keep their word. The night was far from over, the danger had not passed, but the first steps of resistance had begun. And with humans leading the way, Velari Prime had a chance to see the dawn again. The next morning, Velari Prime was quiet in the areas the Draxan had not yet reached. Smoke from burning buildings drifted through the air, and small fires still burned in the distance. In the bunker, the humans and Velari gathered to plan their first real moves. Aaron Price, captain of the Iron Resolve, stood over the holomap of Velari Prime. Red dots marked Draxan ships in true positions. Lines of smoke and fire indicated destroyed areas, and blue dots represented pockets of Velari defenders. "We cannot match their numbers," Aaron said, his voice calm. "But numbers do not win battles alone. We will hit where they are weak. We will use speed, deception, and courage. Humans are used to impossible odds, and you will learn this as we go." Daniel Carter, the chief engineer, tapped on the holomap. "Their shield patterns are predictable. The Draxan ships are strong, yes, but they expect the enemy to fight slowly, carefully. Humans fight differently. We will make them hesitate, and hesitation can be deadly." Natalie Brooks, tactical officer, turned to Talon and the other Velari defenders. "We will train you in human tactics. Small squads, movement, cover, ambushes. Your cities and terrain will be advantages if you learn quickly. Every second counts. Hesitation will get you killed." Talon listened carefully. His pride made it hard to accept the lessons at first, but he saw the logic. Velari fighters were precise but slow. Humans were fast, direct, and decisive. Combining their skills could make a difference. Lyrn worked with Daniel on technology. They combined human scanners with Velari drones, creating small reconnaissance units to scout Draxan positions without risking lives. Lyron was amazed at how humans could see new possibilities in old technology. "Why do humans think like this?" she asked. Aaron smiled faintly. "Our planet was harsh. Storms, predators, disease, fire. We had to adapt to survive. We learned to use everything around us, take risks, and act quickly. That is how we fight now." Several Velari medics worked with Lisa Morgan, the human doctor. She trained them in basic first aid and human medicine that could save lives, even in severe conditions. Burns, broken bones, injuries from energy weapons. They could treat almost anything now with the combined knowledge. Civilians helped, carrying supplies and assisting with simple tasks. Hope began to grow among the people of Velari Prime. After hours of planning, Aaron laid out the first part of the attack. Step 1. Disrupt their communications and confuse their command. Daniel and Lyron will help us send false signals. Step 2. Small squads of humans and Velari will hit high-value targets. Step 3. We make them think a larger force is present. Fear will work for us. If they hesitate, we would more than numbers could give us. Talon looked at him, eyes narrowing. "And if we fail?" Aaron's gaze did not waver. "Then we fight again. Failure is not final. Action is everything." The Velari fighters trained in small squads, learning to move quickly through the ruined streets. Natalie led exercises in cover, advancing under fire, retreating without panic. She corrected movements sharply. "Do not hesitate. Hesitation kills. Trust your instincts. Keep moving. Protect civilians while attacking." Daniel and Lyron ran test drones and signal jammers. They learned to create false energy signatures to make the Draxan believe more ships were present. Small explosions and light flares in different areas made the enemy uncertain about Velari's strength. Every small trick counted. Lisa taught medics to move quickly between squads, patching injuries and calming the frightened. Civilians began volunteering to guide squads through hidden tunnels and old streets, avoiding main roads where Draxan forces waited. Aaron gathered Talon and a few squad leaders. "Remember this. The Draxan are organized, slow, and predictable. Humans are not. We strike where they are weak. We adapt, we survive. Every move we make will be deliberate, fast, and unexpected. Understand? Yes, Talon said firmly. We will follow your lead. Good, Aaron said. Tomorrow, we begin. Tonight, rest and review the plan. We strike at night using shadows, streets, and abandoned buildings. We will use every advantage we have. As the Velari fighters trained and the humans prepared their equipment, small squads patrolled the outskirts. They set up traps, improvised explosives from mining materials, and practiced silent communication signals. The Draxan moved above, unaware that a hidden enemy was preparing beneath them. Natalie led a reconnaissance patrol with Talon and a few Velari fighters. They moved through a ruined city, avoiding patrols and scanning for weak points. The humans moved like shadows, quiet but efficient. Velari fighters began to understand how to move without hesitation, how to act with speed and purpose. Faster, Natalie whispered. Do not pause. Keep scanning. Stay low. If they see you hesitate, they will act first. Talon's squad adapted quickly. Small groups of 3 to 4 moved together, signaling silently, advancing toward Draxan supply caches. They placed small charges and retreated before the enemy realized. The first victories were small, but they built confidence. Daniel and Lyron continued working on larger devices. Signal jammers, decoys, and small drones could make the Draxan believe that human forces were stronger than reality. Lights, noises, and repeated false communications created confusion. Aaron explained, war is not only strength. Deception is power. We will use both. Lisa moved among the squads, patching wounds and giving instructions. You will see that fear can be controlled. Pain can be managed. We survive. We adapt. We move forward. As night fell, Aaron called a meeting with Talon, Lyron, and Sierra Lena. Tomorrow, we start the real operations. Small strikes, false signals, and ambushes. We must act quickly and coordinate perfectly. Draxan will not expect humans in their way. Remember, fear is powerful. We can use it. Talon nodded, feeling a mix of excitement and fear. We will follow your lead. Teach us everything. We will fight, Lyron added, and if we survive, we may have a chance to rebuild. To stand again, Aaron smiled faintly. Survival is only the first step. After that, we will see what else we can do. Remember, humans do not leave others behind. We fight together. In the dark streets, small human and Velari squads moved like shadows. Explosive traps were set in abandoned buildings, signal decoys activated, and drones flown over the Draxan camps. Every small movement was a step toward the larger plan. The enemy was strong, but they were predictable. Humans had learned how to turn predictability into weakness. Talan watched as people adapt. Soldiers who had been afraid now moved with confidence. Civilians who had hidden now assisted. The presence of humans, their calm, steady courage, and practical knowledge had changed everything. Velari Prime was no longer completely helpless. Aaron walked among the squads. Remember, he said quietly, humans survive on impossible worlds. We use what we have. We take risks others will not. We act. Fear does not stop action. Fear stops hesitation. Natalie added, tonight, we will test some of the traps. Small strikes only. Make the Draxan think we are stronger. Create confusion. When they hesitate, we gain advantage. Every small victory counts. As the first stars appeared in the night sky, the humans and Velari prepared for the coming fight. The Draxan remained unaware of the hidden enemy, their confidence high, their planning slow. Humans and Velari were ready to change the battle, not with sheer numbers, but with courage, speed, and strategy. Lyron looked at Aaron. Thank you for teaching us. We have much to learn. Perrin smiled faintly. We teach, we fight, and we survive, together. The plan was set. The humans' knowledge of impossible survival, their experience on a death world, and the Velari courage combined into a strategy that could change everything. Outside, Draxan patrols continued, unaware of the forces preparing in the shadows. Inside the bunker, in ruined streets, small lights from drones, fires, and human scanners showed that Velari Prime was learning to fight again. The first steps of the battle were ready. The humans would lead, the the Villari would follow, and together, they would show the Draxan that even the smallest, abandoned species could rise with the right allies. And for the people of Villari Prime, hope burned brighter than any fire in the sky. The Death Worlders had arrived, and with them, a chance to survive.